Waiting on to click. There we go. Clicked onto YouTube. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for clicking on where we at 11:03 p.m. on the 8th day of March 2024. And again, thank you for clicking on. Well, did you have brainworm on your bingo card? One of several things we're going to touch on tonight. Again, thank you for clicking on. Feel free to hop in the chat if you're watching live. And if you're watching at your convenience, please consider leaving a comment. No matter when you're watching, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share, hit that notification bell so you do know when we are going to be on. And if you want to email me, you can do so at americandoofus@gmail.com. And you can also send a couple of bucks in cash via Cash App at $ American Doofus if you so desire. Hello, Papa. How are you? Peace and blessings to you as well. Let's get things rolling along here. Going to try to keep it, at a reasonable time tonight. And we start off with the Georgia Baptist Church deacon, Jerry Heflin, has been arrested on 65 charges of rape. Georgia Baptist Church deacon, Jerry Heflin. I get a bunch of these every single day. And I'm glad they're getting arrested. That much I will say. I'm glad they're getting arrested. My question is, how many of them aren't? Okay, tonight's topic, once again, who had brainworm for a square on their bingo card? Because I sure did not see this one coming. RFK Jr. said a, quote, worm got into his brain, ate part of it, and then died. And as a result, he now has cognitive issues. The question is asked, and this guy wants to be president? A legitimate question. But at the same time, hey, it's 2024. We've got some unique candidates. And we can, I've got to chuckle about it because otherwise I'll go on a major rant. And I'm not going to do that tonight. Fox News is slamming Donald Trump for his abysmal performance in the Indiana primary. If you are a person that watches the show all the time, thank you very much for doing so. And you know that last night I basically laid all of this out, how Indiana, 22% of the vote went for Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley has been out of the campaign. She has not had an official campaign for 3 months. She never came to Indiana. She never asked anybody in Indiana to vote for her. And yet 128,168 plus did go vote for her. And basically a lot of the pundits on the Republican side are pointing all of this out, that that's a ton of votes to leave on the table. And while many of those may not vote for Biden, they won't be voting for Trump either, which in states like Indiana narrows the margin. Speaking of the Republican Party and those that are trying to oppose Trump, this is a rally in Iowa, but it is a rally of Republicans against Trump, and the featured speaker is Liz Cheney. So I point all this out because there are those that have already said they're not, if Trump loses, they're not going to accept it. And that's very dangerous this far out, especially. But you see why they're saying it, because they know deep down that there's a real good chance he's going to lose, and he might lose really, really badly. Anyway, next thing on the list tonight is what's going on in Israel. Now, this is a Palestinian home being destroyed. However, this is not in Gaza. This is a Palestinian home being destroyed on the West Bank, where Hamas doesn't even operate. And just giving click too far from my phone. Hang with me here. Just giving you, something to think about. Remind you once again. Now, this house being torn down and the Palestinians being displaced are not in Gaza. They're not part of Hamas. They're in the West Bank, which is supposed to be a Palestinian territory that is quickly being overrun by Israeli settlements, and Gaza is going to quickly be overrun by Israeli settlements. 2 years from now, Gaza will be transformed. It will be called something else, and the terrorism will be at an unbelievable level 2 years from now, if we are still all here, and it is my hope we will be. College anti-Israeli agitators could be sent to Gaza under a new House GOP bill. The Republican House member Randy Weber says, I'm going to bet that these pro-Hamas supporters wouldn't last a day, but let's give them the opportunity. So a lot of people drawing attention and making political capital off of what's going on. This is Republican Representative Mike Lawler. Moscow Marjorie has clearly gone off the deep end. It may be the result of a space laser. This type of tantrum is absolutely unacceptable. What's he talking about? We'll come to that in just a minute. This also happened in Congress today. Chris Murphy, if Israel's strategy makes terror attacks more likely, then it's not effective. And hang on a second. We will take a listen to what he has to say here for about 20 seconds so I can get a quick drink.
I agree.
I hope we listen.
But if Israel's strategy is making it more likely, not less likely, that future terrorist attacks will occur, then it is not an effective strategy. And so it's all well and good to get angry about a conversation the United States is having with Israel over the right strategy to defeat terrorism, but we have lots of experience in failed strategies.
I played that because if you do watch the show, you know that Chris and I talk about this all the time. The United States has a habit of repeating the same strategies over and over again, despite them not being successful. And Chris and I will be on, as of right now, the way depending on how things go, Chris and I will be here Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 in the mountains, and 6 Pacific. And that is if everything stays according to plan. But that's then and this is now. And again, Chris and I've talked about this for months. And we have a lot of failed strategy. Eric Shawn, a reporter with Fox News, says the prosecution has to hide the names of witnesses so Trump doesn't attack them before they testify. Now, this is because Trump came out yesterday and he was surprised that it was going to be Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels coming up as witnesses, that nobody told him or told the defense team who the witnesses were going to be. And in response to that, the reporter assigned to the court from Fox let them know that the reason is because they don't want Trump attacking the witnesses before they get on the stand. which, all right. I said we would get to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we are. This is from Marge. Her fellow Republicans are calling her Moscow Marge. They some of them refer to as three toe, as many do. I found out today from a friend in DC behind the scenes that there's a nickname for Lauren Boebert, and you might be able to guess. You might have some guesses as to what those names could be. But in the meantime, I'm going to let Marge have the platform here for just a few seconds so that everybody can hear what happens.
Give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows. Declaring the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives to be vacant. This is the uniparty for the American people watching.
Gentlelady will suspend.
Okay, so she voted. She brought to the floor, as she has promised to do, a motion to remove Johnson as Speaker of the House, the Republican Speaker of the House, and she had 10 other people vote with her. A total of 11 voted to remove him, and the remainder, both Republican and Democrat, voted to table the motion, meaning not to bring it to the floor for debate and then eventually consideration of a vote. It was just voted on to table it, and this is, I think, this is something that needs people to pay attention to in the Republican Party. I've talked about Trump getting taken out, and I don't mean that necessarily physically. I just mean being made ineffective. And the Republican Party is going to attempt to do that first. Even now, keep in mind what you hear in public, what you hear these people say in public is not what they say in private meetings. And sometimes I'm privy to some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And anyway, I'm not going to say any more about that because I spent a whole lot of time last night talking about why Biden's not going to be the nominee and why neither Biden nor Trump will be president. I didn't say Trump wouldn't end up on the ballot. He's just, he's not going to be president. Now, President Biden, current president, tells Aaron Burnett that if Israel invades the city of Rafah, the U.S. will stop supplying it with artillery shells, bombs for fighter jets, and other offensive weapons. We talked about this last night on the episode that indeed is what the United States was planning to do if Israel went into Rafah. They have, as we showed last night, we showed them crashing down the Welcome to Gaza sign, a symbolic gesture, and we'll show you some cool footage coming up here in a few minutes about. I mean, it's cool looking. It's not cool what happened. Coming up. All right, attention United Kingdom, attention Europe, attention United States. The Russian propagandist Soloviev says that it's time all residents of Great Britain learn to breathe underwater. Once again, he threatens to destroy UK with the Poseidon nuclear weapon. I talked about this 3 years ago, that Russia had this weapon. They had successfully tested this weapon, and how easy it is to deploy. Well, they're bringing it up again, and they're saying that, it's bizarre. They're saying that they're going to strike Great Britain from both sides and just completely remove it so that it is not in the way and Russia has a straight shot from the Pacific and straight into the Atlantic. So I only show it because, like I said, I showed this 3 years ago. Not this. This is from today, but I showed 3 years ago what the Poseidon was. And for those that don't know, it is a unmanned, nuclear powered, and nuclear. It's basically a nuclear drone, an underwater nuclear drone, and they just pull it up beside off the shore of a country and create a radioactive tidal wave as well as a massive explosion. And the propagandists of Russia are speaking on it again. Now, this came from Newsmax. I showed you what Fox said about Trump getting beat not getting beat in Indiana, but what Fox said about the significance of Trump missing out on voters, if you will. Well, Newsmax, one of his most staunch supporters, here's what they had to say this morning.
Real. I think the Nikki Haley factor is real. You look at it, Indiana's a small state. By the way, it's Mike Pence's home state. It's a red state.
Whoa. What do you mean small state? What do you mean? Come out here, talking head. I'm sure there's some people around that will show you that it's not a small state. Where are you from? Sorry.
For Trump in 2016, went for Trump in 2020. 11 electoral votes, so not a huge number there. But still, if he's missing out on 100,000 votes in a state like that, and then 155,000 in Pennsylvania 2 weeks ago.
It was actually closer to 125,000.
You can't tell me that he doesn't have a problem with Nikki Haley voters. Now, real.
It's not Nikki Haley voters. It's anti-Trump voters. They don't want Nikki Haley either. Just saying. Who would the Republicans be content with? I think somebody like Mitt Romney with Liz Cheney as vice president, or Liz Cheney running as the head of the ticket with the guy that was on the January 6th panel, Adam Kinzinger, as vice president. There are a lot of options for actual Republicans that aren't Trump. Senior officials with the Israeli Defense Force have told media publications that the decision by the United States to delay the shipment of precision-guided munitions to Israel due to ground operations against the city of Rafah in southern Gaza could result in the Israeli Air Force being forced to utilize dumb bombs against targets that would actually require precision strike, thus higher civilian casualties. So that's what's going on with the attempted blackmail back and forth diplomatically. I want to introduce you to a group called Vanguards of Liberation. They're the Martyr Muhammad Salah group. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, indeed, this is your nation, a single nation. I mean, your Lord, so worship me. We are at your call, O Alaska. We are at your call, O Gaza. This is a brand new group that has made themselves public within the last couple of days, and they are based out of Egypt. Now, why do I bring this up now? Because there was an assassination 2 days ago in Alexandria. Ziv Kuiper, an Israeli businessman and alleged spy, was killed by a member of Vanguards of Liberation, the Martyr Muhammad Saleh group. I've got video of it. I am not going to show you. This is Kip right here, and this is a still before the actual shooting started. I'm getting massive booms of thunder outside. So if the power goes out, actually, I'm not going to be much longer, but if the power goes out, that's why, probably. As I said, I had some cool looking footage. This is from 2 days ago, just released today by the Israeli Defense Forces. And it shows through night vision their various tanks and heavy equipment as they were lined up to breach the southern wall, which they did, and eventually started the incursion into Gaza. They now secure the Rafah crossing so that no one gets in or out through Egypt. No aid gets in or out through Egypt. And I imagine by the time 12 hours from now, they will, as you can see, they're going through where they've breached the gate. They've got bulldozers, they've got tanks, they've got anti-mine heavy machinery. And here you see from a regular view at night as they have already entered Gaza. So this is we are going to witness the complete and total destruction of every inch of Gaza. As we're not going to witness it because they're not going to show it, but that is what is happening. And no matter which side you come down on, that is the fact. Muslim influencer gets severely beaten by her parents during a live stream because she did not cover her hair with a scarf. Keep this in mind, college kids, when you're converting to Islam after a 8-day protest. Just something to think about. All right. I went to see Civil War again today for the second time. I'll talk about that probably tomorrow night. The reason I wanted to show this was, there were snipers on the roofs in Civil War. I saw this. I saw the snipers on the roof, and I thought, okay, what European country is this? And they zoomed in again to make sure we saw that there were snipers and lookouts. And who are they looking out? Who are they potentially targeting? Canadians. So a lot of weird stuff going on in Canada. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my last couple of episodes. They will be worth your time. And we mentioned that it has come out that Robert Kennedy has said that he had a worm in his brain and the worm ate part of his brain and then the worm died. And that's why he has some cognitive issues. And which made almost everybody in the entire country go, WTF? What? Well, a member of Congress should not be making a joke about such a situation, but nonetheless, Representative Mike Collins decides he's going to either die a Kennedy with a hole in the brain or live long enough to become a Kennedy with a hole in the brain, referring to the assassinations of Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s dad and uncle. Pretty classless POS as far as I'm concerned. I think the Nikki Haley factor is real. Again, this is from Newsmax. Between the hours of 3:30 to 5 a.m. this morning, Metro Police from Washington, D.C. Began clearing pro-Palestinian encampment at the request of George Washington University. University officials have declared the encampment illegitimate and requested the students be cleared by May 8, 2024. And shortly after it became May 8, 2024, the cops moved in and started helping them along their way, clearing out the protests. Now, we covered, we covered so many different protests back in the summer of injustice, justice, and we focused a lot on Louisville, and that was one of the first encampments that was raided, one of the first encampments that was set up, and they came in the middle of the night. They're going to come in. That's a tactic that's going to happen in these encampments. And it's logistics, partly because they want to come in, get it done, so that rush hour traffic is not impeded. And it also catches a lot of people asleep. So that's what happened at George Washington University. If you watched last night, you know that these same students threatened to behead the president of the university as well as the trustees after after they held a trial for them. So serious business going on in some of these areas. Now this is I'm not sure exactly the location that this happened, but this is what happened when Black Hebrew Israelites were on the corner talking about their beliefs, and the Palestinian, pro-Palestinian, it's in Chicago. Okay. The pro-Palestinian, this was just sent, this link was sent to me. And I trusted the people that sent it, so I haven't even viewed it yet. The Black Hebrew Israelites are over here on the corner. You can see them. They're out talking to people about what they believe in a lot of the major cities. The pro-Palestinians, as you can see, giving them the finger. And they actually, you see them throwing things at them. They rushed them originally. Police moved in after the incursion, after the fighting started, and separated the two groups. So, again, if you're living in a big city, you just don't know what's going to happen at any time. Once again, here's some more footage from the mass arrest at 4 a.m. from George Washington University. Police set up a perimeter and just started gradually moving in, using bicycles as movable barricades, something that we've seen a lot in protests, and is effective, has been effective. Okay, this is Benjamin Netanyahu, the current prime minister of Israel, and this is him back in the 1980s, 40 years ago, bragging about how, quote, they own the Senate, the Congress, and have a strong Jewish lobby on our side. We have a strong influence over general support. America won't force us into anything. Here's what he actually said. And did I mute it? I did. All right. Yeah, it's in Yiddish. So that's basically what he said. For 40 years, we've thought, Israel's controlled by the United States, and for 40 years, we've been wrong. The United States is very much controlled by Israel. 98% of Congress influenced by the AIPAC, the American Israeli Political Action Committee, AIPAC. This happened last night, and I mentioned it, and I said I didn't have the footage yet. At around 9:15, pro-Palestinian protesters gathered outside the residence of Ellen Granberg, president of George Washington University. And this also, you combine everything that happened. The students held a trial. The students sentenced the president and trustees to be beheaded. Then the students went to her house. So you can probably understand why the encampment was taken out again shortly after these other two things took place yesterday. This is Donald Trump.
From his or her.
Wait a minute, we got to get the whole thing here. This is from yesterday, I believe.
Right now, in a number of states, the laws allow a baby to be born from his or her mother's womb in the 9th month. It is wrong. It has to change.
Okay, I'm not sure. Let's listen one more time. Maybe I missed something.
Right now, in a number of states, the laws allow a baby to be born from his or her mother's womb in the 9th month. It is wrong. It has to change. Right now.
Okay. I did. Yeah. Okay. What do you think? Is he advocating for everybody getting C-sections or wanting preemies, or is he just a freaking maroon? You decide. Former Republican Speaker of the House Paul Ryan has announced he will not vote for Donald Trump. Character is too important to me, and the presidency is a job that requires the kind of character that he just doesn't have. I think it might also require somebody that doesn't have their brain eaten by a worm, and it might require somebody that doesn't have the sometimes cognitive disconnect that we see from the current office holder. What we need somebody that doesn't want the job. You shouldn't want to be president. You shouldn't want to decide if people live or die. You shouldn't want to be concerned about whether the country is going to get attacked on your watch. You shouldn't want the responsibility of potentially pushing a button that will launch a weapon that has not been launched in the history of the world, because what we would launch now does not compare with what was dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That's what we ought to have. That's what we ought to be demanding. Somebody that doesn't want the damn job. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'm not going to get on a giant rant tonight. I'm going to keep this at a reasonable time and come back on tomorrow night at 11, as far as I know. And talk about some things as well. So, peace, love, and unity. Hello to Lori Arnold, Nancy McMonarch, True. Who else we have in here? Not going away. And let me go up to the top and see if I missed anybody, and that's in the chat. Again, Papa, thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. Those of you that are watching but not in the chat, and those of you that are watching at your convenience at a later time. I thank everybody for taking the time to click on here. We just, we give you facts and views and words that you're not going to get anywhere else, because this is unique. And the only reason I'm doing it is because I'd feel guilty if I wasn't doing it, because I can kind of, I feel like I can kind of see things that are coming. I feel like my background, everything I've done in my life leading up to this point, is all kind of coming together. All of my past experiences and studies and skills, especially analytics. And I thank all of you, honestly, for taking a few minutes most nights and spending it with me. I love y'all like chocolate chip cookies. Wish you nothing but peace, positive vibrations. It's a dark world. Try to be a light. I'm Barry Welsh. This is the American Doofus channel. Eyes open. Be a light. Love y'all. See you next time.